Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Thursday, April 18th, 2024. If you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, we got a small card for Thursday, but here are the games in Major League Baseball. First up, it's the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Griffin Canning and Ryan Pepiot are your starters. I know Ryan Pepiot struggled in that last game and overall an ERA above 5 on the season, but I'm not too worried about his game. I think he's still going to be a really good option in this Rays rotation for years to come. He's got a lot of potential. He's got great strikeout stuff. He's had 17 strikeouts his last 11 innings of work, and even the per nines aren't miserable. I mean, 2 home runs in last game, not what you want to see, but only 1 walk in his last 11 innings. The control's been fine. I think he pitches pretty well in this game. I think he's the much better option compared to Griffin Canning, who has struggled pretty consistently through his first 3 games of the year, giving up 5 earned, 4 earned with 3 home runs, and then 6 earned in his first 3 starts of the season. Sure, he's got some upside with his strikeout stuff, but he's given up a lot of sharp contact, a lot of extra base hits, including those home runs. I think the Rays get to him and win this game at Tropicana Field. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Detroit Tigers. Looks like Jack Leiter is going to be making his Major League debut, one of the Rangers' top pitching prospects, and Kenta Maeda going for Detroit. Now, Kenta Maeda had his best start of the season last time out. It was a quality start against the Twins, 6 innings of 1 earned run baseball, no walks and no home runs. The first time he has done that this year, not giving up a homer or a walk, and 5 strikeouts to go with it. But again, that was against the Minnesota Twins, and honestly, Maeda, it's not great to see him have that ERA at 6 when you look at the opponents that he's faced. The White Sox, the A's, and the Twins, 3 of the worst lineups in baseball, or in the American League at least, in terms of OPS, isolated power. Now you're facing a Rangers team. It's kind of been inconsistent offensively the last week or so. We've seen some great performances. We've seen them get only 1 hit by J.P. Sears and the Oakland A's. But I still think the Rangers are one of the better lineups on paper in the American League, and they provide a much tougher matchup for Kenta Maeda, the toughest matchup of the season by far for him this year. And, Jack Leiter, he is somebody that's going to earn a lot of strikeouts. I think he led minor leagues in strikeouts before he got the call up. His control is okay in terms of missing outside the zone. He doesn't do it too often, doesn't really walk too many guys, but he does give up, some sharp contact. And we saw that in the minor leagues. We saw it in spring training, where usually the way to beat Jack Leiter is via the home run ball. And we see that a lot with these younger, power pitchers, where they give up at least a home run per game, but their ERA is still pretty low because they're able to miss a lot of bats. I think Leiter's going to be fine in this game. The good thing for him is, as a righty facing the Detroit Tigers, if your issues with the home run ball, you're facing the Tigers team going into Wednesday's games are dead last in baseball in isolated power against righties so far this year. So it's actually a pretty good matchup for Leiter. I'm going to go with the Texas Rangers on the money line in this one. Next up, we see the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Boston Red Sox. Carlos Carrasco and Cooper Criswell are your starters. And the Red Sox, they are really going through it when it comes to the injuries and the pitching staff. I mean, Cooper Criswell gets a spot start here. I mean, when you look at the before the season, Lucas Giolito, the big offseason acquisition, he goes down with an injury. Nick Pivetta goes down with an injury only through a couple of starts. And Garrett Whitlock on Tuesday was removed from the game early with precaution. And you got Chris Martin out of the bullpen, also misses some time with a shoulder injury. This Red Sox team, which was already not the deepest or strongest on paper in the pitching staff in general, they are in rough shape right now. And Cooper Criswell, not my favorite option. I think that the Guardians will be able to get to him, and this Red Sox bullpen. The Guardians do such a good job at limiting strikeouts. It makes for a really tough matchup for a lot of starting pitchers, especially with not a lot of experience at the major league level. And I think the Guardians get to him and this Red Sox pen. But Carlos Carrasco, even if he's not perfect, I still think the Guardians find a way to win this game. And Carlos Carrasco has not been perfect lately. He's had 8 walks given up in his last 7 2/3 innings, which is a big concern. However, he's been able to get out a lot of these jams, kind of like a guy like Seth Lugo, who's put a lot of base runners on, but he's able to get out of these jams via the ground ball outs or sometimes the strikeouts, a really key strikeout. And the Red Sox lineup has been okay against right-handed pitching, but nothing amazing. I think the Guardians have the advantage. If this is a close game late, which I think it could be, I think the Guardians have a big advantage there. So give me the Cleveland Guardians on the money line. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the Chicago Cubs. Shota Imanaga for Chicago, no official starter for the Fish. Imanaga, he still has not given up an earned run. We saw him give up one unearned run in his last game against the Mariners, which it wasn't his best outing, but it still was a pretty sharp one. 5 1/3 innings of no earned run baseball and a 4-1 Cubs win. But in that game, he had less than a strikeout per inning. He had 5 base hits and 2 walks given up. It was definitely his weakest start of the season thus far, but now you're facing the Marlins, who are dead last in baseball in isolated power, second worst in team OPS against lefties, these numbers are, and a very low walk rate at 6.7%. Yeah, Miami's got a low strikeout rate as well, but I think Imanaga pitches well in this game, and I trust the Cubs lineup and bullpen a lot more in this matchup as well. So I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs and lay the 1.5 runs. We'll see the official starter is for Miami, but I'm going to guess the Cubs are going to be a pretty big favorite in this game, so may not be the most value in this one. Next up, we see the final game for the Thursday card. It's Ryan Nelson and Logan Webb for this Diamondbacks-Giants matchup. And we talked about how Ryan Nelson is kind of the exception to the Diamondbacks starting rotation rule of a lot of these starters pitch really well at Chase Field. They struggle a little bit, or maybe they're not as sharp on the road, but it's the opposite for Ryan Nelson. Last year, I think he had an ERA above 7 or 8 at Chase Field, below 4 on the road. He was much better on the road. We find him here at a pitcher-friendly ballpark against a Giants team that's struggling against right-handed pitching quite a bit. I think it's a good spot here for Ryan Nelson to put together 5-6 strong innings. And Logan Webb, when you look at him, he was struggling quite a bit. We saw him give up 5 earned runs against the Dodgers and 10 base hits against the Padres, but his last start was his best start of the year against the Rays. 7 innings of 1 earned run baseball, and it's exactly what you want to see, a 14-7 ground ball to fly ball ratio. He is a ground ball specialist. He is his best when he's keeping the ball on the ground. He's not going to earn a ton of strikeouts, but if he's keeping the ball on the ground and limiting that sharp contact and limiting the free passes, Logan Webb can be one of the better pitchers in the National League, and he's especially good when he's pitching at home, where we find him here. I think we see a really low-scoring game. Give me the under in Arizona, San Francisco. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.